Yeah, sometimes what happens is you're old, you go to bed. I'm not being facetious here. Been there, done that, still doing it. Go to bed feeling fine. Wake up the next morning feeling like you've been run over by a truck. That's part of being older, and that's one of the concerns I've had for Ben Roethlisberger as he creeps toward 40. He turns 40 in March. These injuries that maybe he wouldn't have noticed or maybe he would have gotten over quickly, they're going to linger. And this pec injury, I appreciate Mike Tomlin's candor because, Charean, he had no obligation to tell anybody anything today. They have no duty to say anything until we get to Wednesday when they issue their first practice report. Didn't participate, limited, full participation, injured body part mentioned. So I like the candor. It's above and beyond what the rules require. But there's definitely a question here now that's going to be resolved over the next few days, whether and to what extent Ben Roethlisberger is going to be limited, whether and to what extent his availability for Sunday against the Bengals is in jeopardy.
Well, and you use your pec, obviously, to throw passes, right? It's not, even if it's his left one, he's still going to use it to throw passes. So this is going to be something that we have to watch all week, Mike, to see if he's able to play. But you're right. When you're 39 years old, going on 40, and hey, he even said, I don't exactly have Tom Brady. I mean, everybody wanted to say he adopted Tom Brady's TB12 method and all that, and he even said, I didn't do that. We know he doesn't train exactly like TB12, and I'm not ripping on him. I'm just saying TB12 does a lot of special things that these other quarterbacks don't do, and the injuries do start catching up to you, and when you've taken as many hits as he has over 18 seasons, he was only sacked twice, Mike, but he was hit 10 times, and he was hit hard 10 times. And no matter who they have at quarterback, if the Steelers can't do a better job of protecting their quarterback, it's going to be a long season for this team.
I loved that exchange from earlier in the training camp process where basically he said, how dare you have the impression that I actually am careful with my body. I'm still the same slob that I've always been. Do not report that I'm being more cautious about my diet and my exercise and my weight. So bottom line, and I look, I admire the guy for still playing at age 39, and this guy has taken a ton of physical abuse over the years playing football, and he hasn't shied away from it. And something happened to him on Sunday where that muscle is injured. And look, you can only do so many things to injure your pec, and usually we hear about guys being lost for the season when they have a pec injury of a certain amount. So if it's enough that it's actually worth pointing out, it's not some minor little strain that you're just kind of like, oh, you know, it just feels weird when I do that. It is something that is affecting him in some way, and it definitely bears paying attention to. Remember, it was last year in week 2 during the game against 2 years ago, during the game against the Seahawks that he suffered that elbow injury and was lost for the season. Let's just pay attention to it. There have been plenty of quarterback injuries over the years that start as something where we just say, that's no big deal. Charean, I remember week 2 of 2017, 4 years ago. Sam Bradford, then the Vikings starter, coming off of a great Monday night game against the Saints to start the season, showed up on the injury report, did not practice, knee, never played again for the Vikings. Never again. Yeah. Never suited up again. Done for the year eventually. So it makes sense to pay attention to where this goes from here. By the way, TJ Watt's groin injury, I heard on Sunday that they didn't think it was anything that was going to be a multiple-week absence, but it was enough to knock him out of a game that he believed he could have made a huge difference in, but he could be back as soon as Sunday against the Bengals. I could see possibly a temptation to give him a week off and maybe get him ready to go for the Packers. That's a big game coming up in 12 days for the Pittsburgh Steelers. There's some good games looming in week 4, headlined by the Buccaneers traveling to face the New England Patriots. So we'll see. Tomorrow, Thursday, Friday, we'll see what Ben Roethlisberger ultimately is able to do this weekend, Charean. And it's too early to really have any feel. It's going to affect his preparation. Will it affect his availability? I'm not even going to have a gut feeling on this, but I think it makes sense for everyone to be paying attention to it.
Hi, I'm Mike Tirico, and thanks for watching. Make sure to hit subscribe for the latest news and highlights from NBC Sports.